All right, so today we're going to be going through a little interactive exercise where I walk you through my thought process as I'm looking for spots to park either overnight or during the day. So this is for you van lifers or, you freelancers out there that may be working in different cities that want to really get a grip on this invaluable skill set of actually finding spots where you can park overnight and during the day and not really have to worry about authorities or people complaining, and doing it super discreetly. That way you don't create a bad reputation for the rest of us living this kind of lifestyle, whether you're doing it full-time or part-time. So I'm in one spot right now that I actually found that I didn't know about, that's in a city called Laval. So just for a little bit of context, I actually live in Montreal. So I haven't done a big scouting of Montreal because first of all, there's a lot of difficulty finding parking to begin with at any time of the day. But also I don't really have to because I live there. So I thought this would be a cool exercise for me too in case, I ever decide to like move to a different city or whatever, or to like completely give up my apartment. So I would actually know a few spots around. So this one would fall under the category of industrial area. So I've done another video talking about the two types of spots where you're guaranteed to find parking overnight and during the day. And industrial is one of those areas. Now, during the day, it's a bit more difficult because obviously people work here. But like, as you can see on the weekend or at night, you're gonna have no issues parking here. There's nobody here at night or on the weekend. There's a garage on my left, and there's like a high-rise building on the right. So I'm gonna edit in some clips from that I'm going to shoot of the area, so that way you guys see exactly what I see. And I'm also going to edit in my dash cam, so you have like a full 360 view of what I'm going to be seeing and how I'm going to be making my decisions. That's going to be my narration over it. So I'm going to go through my thought process, what I like about the spots, what I don't like, things to look out for. And hopefully by the end of this video, you guys will have this invaluable skill set. And we might maybe even make a part 2 at some point, because we're not going to go through every single spot in Montreal today, right? So let's get going, and I'll show you guys some other spots. All right, so we're about to take off from this spot now. So as you can see, it's like a pretty barren industrial area during the weekend and at night, because this is the weekend now. And there are plenty of spots here. So there's nobody like really like, there's already cars, so that's already a good sign. So one thing you want to look for, obviously, if there's other cars that are parked there, and you want to make sure that there's no specific like, vignette requirements, or, that you don't need a special pass or something. So you could look on the dashboards of the cars, just look at the signage around. But in the case of this spot, it's actually pretty good. So if you wanted to if you were working in this area and wanted a spot for the night, this would be good. For during the day though, like you could probably leave your van. Like there's a no parking sign that flashes sometimes. Like there's no specific times. It's just that there are times where you won't be able to park here, and you have no way of really predicting that. So might be a bit of a risk to leave it during the day, but if you leave it at night, then there's absolutely no problem. And obviously if you're going to be camping there overnight, nobody's going to bother you, especially if you got like a Ford Transit or something. It looks like a work van. Like you do exactly as I instruct you guys. You make it a stealth camper, no awnings, no roof racks, no windows. Like you just make it look like a work van. You might even put like a high vis vest on your passenger seat and a clipboard, like stuff like that. You're gonna blend right in. Industrial areas are a no-brainer. Now, obviously, like another important thing to think about when you're looking for spots and stuff is that it's not a spot for you to live at. So let me make this extremely clear. Like you're not trying to find a spot where you can literally camp like indefinitely. Like there are some spots like that exist, usually outside major cities for the most part. But yeah, like you guys got to be way more discreet than that. Like this is like, that's why I like rotating spots. So we're separating things into daytime spots and nighttime spots. Daytime spots are places where you can leave your vehicle during the day, usually and hopefully for free, and potentially even where you can work from. Like if it was a nice day, like maybe it's a park and you got a nice view and you can just open the side door and you got a little desk and you can work from there. That's a daytime spot. But obviously your daytime spot is not going to be your nighttime spot, and your nighttime spot, ideally you don't leave your vehicle there, because if you leave it for too long, this is going to cause problems. And by the way, like we're in Canada right now, and I'm fully aware that in the States there's kind of like a little bit of a crackdown on this kind of like van life stuff, you know, camping in your vehicle thing. We're gonna talk about that in another video, but honestly, like the tips I'm giving you guys are gonna help you even in the US. Like I guarantee from what I've heard from a lot of you guys, like a lot of the videos I watched, the people, they're not doing it right. They have like some old beat up van, or they're like really not being discreet, or they're really looking for spots where they can just like actually camp at. And maybe there were those spots in the past, but right now it's just like, you know, like I said, it's a crackdown. So the goal is to keep moving. You can rotate the spots. Like I said, you could have just one night and one daytime spot, and you could constantly be rotating between those two spots, which is what I do when I'm like in the Ottawa-Gatineau area. No problem. But ideally, like if you keep moving and stuff, then you're not going to have any issues with authorities. The issues happen when you literally leave your van there for like multiple days and you don't change spots and you're literally living there. That's a complete different story. So just wanted to put that in there, guys, because it's a big distinction to make, you know, like, and you know, also like a lot of you guys are actually technically homeless. Like you're not using like you don't have an address, you don't even have like a family member's address, like, which is pretty easy to do. Like, so there's like stuff like tactics like that. But anyways, that's a topic for another video. Now we're in like a residential area, and you might be wondering, are residential areas valid, you know, for van life parking, you know, like overnight or during the day? I mean, you might have more luck during the day in a residential spot, to be honest, because you know, people go to work usually during the day, but nowadays it doesn't seem like anybody works, so maybe not. But I mean, you can see in the dash cam, like there are maybe some spots that are available, like around here, for example. Like actually there's some over there that could be worth looking at. It's right behind like kind of like a shopping center. So that's a good spot you could look at too. Might go check that one out right now, actually. But generally, if you're in line of sight of a house or apartment complex, whatever, I wouldn't pick that spot because, like, you know, even if you arrive late and you leave early, like, you know, people don't always go to bed at 10 p.m. or even 12 p.m. So you might have some old paranoid lady that's like looking outside and stuff. And you know, she sees like a weird, like a van, like a, you know, big white van she's not used to seeing. And that's why like residential neighborhoods, like during the day is one thing, but at night, especially if you're in line of sight of any houses, I wouldn't do it. There are obviously spots you can find that are outside of line of sight, which is one of the ones we're about to go look at right now. But I mean, generally it's not, like if you can see them, they can see you. That's like a good way to put it. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like I've done it before. Like if you're really stuck and you have no other option, then do it. The worst case is you have a paranoid neighbor and you just explain to the authorities that you're just, you know, whatever, you're traveling, you're here for work, whatever. Like there's nothing in Canada anyways, it's not illegal yet. But in the States, yeah, you kind of would be screwed. So, you know, it's just things to keep in mind. But yeah, so that's for residential neighborhoods. So we're gonna go look at a spot right now. All right, so I went to the spot that I picked up on before on the corner of my eye really quickly, and it's not the worst spot, but I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like about it. So you can probably see it in this camera actually. Like to my left, you have like apartment buildings, but to my right, you have actually nothing. You have like a little shopping center, you have like a lot of trees and stuff. Like on my right side, which is actually the side where my side door is, there's nothing. And parking restrictions, it's there's a sign up there that basically it's only like, you know, it's a digital sign, so it doesn't give you specific times, but there might be a time, like for example, if they're cleaning the streets or whatever, they might put it on. So like I said, not a really good spot to leave your car for like a day or something, because if that goes on and your vehicle's here, you might get towed or get a ticket. But for sleeping in the night, if you arrived late, it wouldn't be so bad, and here's why. Because the side that you're getting into your van from, like the side door, is away from the houses, which are on the left side. So here you actually have some cover. So like I said, if you arrive late and you leave early, you might be pretty good. Okay, so this would work for any day of the week and the weekend. So yeah, one of the main things that you want to do when you're looking for spots, like I said, first of all, like if we're gonna like the spot in Montreal we're gonna go to is gonna be right next to a waterway. So there's the North Shore and there's the South Shore of Montreal. I'm just being specific to Montreal because that's that's what I know most. But normally cities, because this one's on an island, right? Most like if there's water, it's probably going to be on only one side of the city in most cases. But in the case of Montreal, you have the north and the south. The south, forget about it. It's mostly just like harbors and stuff and ports. You even have the old port, which is more of a touristic area, but you're definitely not going to find parking there. So don't even think about it. But the north shore of Montreal is pretty residential and there's a lot of parks nearby, so there would actually be probably quite a lot of opportunities for you to find overnight parking on the North Shore of Montreal, anywhere along the North Shore. All right, so we're in Montreal right now, and I just pulled up at one of the spots that I've known about for a while, and I always considered it as a potential good rotation spot for daytime and nighttime spots. So this is like where you're gonna have to do a little bit of thinking. So the around here, there's like basically you can park almost any time. It's just Monday to Friday you have specific like 1 hour where you can't park. Okay, so for that hour, for example, there's actually a spot down there I'm going to show you guys, which you can actually rotate back and forth between these two spots. But you could also plan for those hours to just go do your errands, to go do your groceries, to go explore a little bit, to go to a park or something. Because this is actually a park. If you just walk a little bit down, it's a really nice stretch. It's right by the water. And there are probably a bunch of these on the North Shore of Montreal, like I said. So this is just one of them. But for the spot where I'm at right now, the only time you can't park is Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. So basically this is a good nighttime spot, in other words. So you can actually, and there's no houses around. Like I said, on my right side there's just trees, and on my left there's an overpass, a bridge, and more trees and parks. So, and there's a lot of cars that park here at night too, as you can see. So that's another thing you want to look for. Are there other cars parked here at night and during the day where you are? And if so, you'll blend right in. So we're just gonna move up a little bit now. Got a car behind me, so that's okay. But anyway, so you saw that, and on the left side there's a different time. It's 9 to 10 a.m. Monday to Friday. You can't park, so you could literally just go from one side of the street to the other, and you could actually end up staying here the entire day and night. But if you abuse it, of course, it's only a matter of time before you're found out. So try to keep your nighttime spots, because those are the most valuable. Try to not stay at them too long, specifically your nighttime spots. So this is the rotation spot. So over here it's Monday. You just can't park here Monday from 10 to 11, no, 10:30 to 11:30 on Monday. And Monday to Friday, once I pass this point, like here we're good, but the second I pass this point, just this little stretch over here, Monday to Friday, 9 to 11:30, you can't park. So you see there's a lot of different regulations at this area. But if you just hop from one spot to the other, you can actually stay here pretty much the entire day and night. So this is actually a really good spot, because not only that, you're like right next to the water. It's beautiful. It might be a bit noisy because you got the overpass like literally right in front of us here. But overall, it's a really nice spot, and there's always cars here. So like you don't really stick out. Maybe as a bigger work van, whatever. Maybe but nobody's going to ask questions. It's not like there's going to be patrols around here. And even if there are, most of the time, like in the day, I would recommend moving and keeping this as a nighttime spot exclusively, because, and you can come back here, like after you do your errands, you can chill, you can park, you can walk around. Like, that's the kind of thinking you have to have, guys. You can't just be like, okay, this is my spot forever. Like, there's no such thing as a van life spot forever, unless you own a piece of land or something. And even then, there's zoning laws, and there's a lot to like consider. So really this is a nomadic lifestyle, but already you see with this kind of thinking, you can find spots like this even in a busy like metropolitan city like Montreal with parking, if you know where to look. We're nowhere near downtown, and you will not find parking near downtown. Actually, there are a couple of spots that I do know of that are not too bad around there, but anyways, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this spot. All right, so we're on our way back now, and basically what we found today is 3 spots. And what I like about the 3 spots that we found is that they're in 3 different categories of spots. So 2 of them are the ones that we said in the other video that I made that are guaranteed for overnight parking. So that's industrial and near major waterways. Montreal doesn't have any marinas, and that on the North Shore, not at least none that I know of. So it's mostly just like parks and stuff, which, you know, but like usually when you're near a major waterway, there's a bit less development. That's usually why you could find spots around there. And industrial areas, like I said, it's mostly like, you know, at night and weekends, you're pretty much going to be guaranteed to have spots there. But the third spot in the residential area, because I do mention sometimes that it's possible to find parking in residential areas, especially if you have to, you know, for work, or you want to be near a specific area for a specific reason. They are viable spots. Like the one that we found today was good. Okay, it wasn't perfect, but the fact that the houses and the apartments, they were on the left side, and we could at least have some cover on the other side of the van, especially with a Ford Transit high roof, you know, like where your sliding door is, then you can actually get in and stuff and not have to worry about people seeing you, especially if you arrive late at night and leave early in the morning. So I don't think we could have had a better run than this. So 3 different types of spots and 3 different types of, you know, areas. We covered a bit of Laval, a bit of Montreal. So those are like 2 big metropolitan areas. So if we can find parking here, then you can definitely find parking in, like, you know, smaller towns, rural areas, whatever. There are different sets of challenges. Maybe part 2 would actually be a good idea to do it in one of those areas, so you see what the differences are. But that's pretty much all there is to it, guys. So remember to rotate your spots. Don't stay there for too long, especially if you have a really good nighttime spot. Don't waste it. Don't get the knock on the door. Be discreet. You know, don't bring us to shame. Like, stop giving us a bad rep, guys. Let's make this clean, professional, and, you know, we're always there with a purpose.
All right, guys, that's it for this one. If you're building something that's meant to last, whether it's a camper van, a business, or just a better way of living, I'm glad you're here. Everything I use, recommend, or offer is linked in the description. Take what works, build your own blueprint, and I'll see you in the next one.